Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my city Skylines series with Japan. Today we're in episode 7 and we are building a luxurious resort on top of the mountain, or better said, in the mountainside. Why I feel like this would be a good place for it, first of all, is, well, I think a luxurious resort should be out of an village center, as you don't want to have too many people there that don't belong to the hotel. So in this case they have a great view over all of the valley. And yeah, there were my basic main thoughts, that this might be one of the places where you would like to go when you're rich, so that you can kind of like take some time off from your hustling life and you just have a luxurious resort somewhere in the mountains. And it's pretty cool there, I feel like. It is one of the places where you would actually like to stay, I would guess. And yes, here I'm just working out on the mountainside, just to try how to do them. We will be later on doing them more, but at first we will be concentrating on the hotel complex itself. How I did this, because I wasn't been building this right now, is I PO'd a lot of buildings and I merged them into each other. And the reason that I didn't take them kind of like into recording is due to the fact of it would be taking way too much time for me. Because I kind of like wasted, I think, about 3 hours just POing these things and trying around, so I was like, yeah, I will throw it away, this is not too necessary for you guys to know. And also it is not that interesting. Another thing that is a bit changed today is the music. I used some more lo-fi music. Please let me hear in the comments down below what you think of it. I think it's a great idea. Hopefully you think so too. And yeah, please tell me what you think about that. Also, for all the music, as always, it is in the comment, in the description down below if you would need to know which it is, so feel free to go there and check it out yourself. Now we are in the parking lot. This was a struggle for me, because I wanted to do a small parking lot. And my basic main thoughts of this were, when you're rich you don't want to drive a car there probably, so you would probably have a chauffeur going there with you and just taking you in a big stretch limousine or something like this, so I thought, yeah, they don't need that many, they would be basically only for people that are working there, and the other one would kind of like get brought there by a car, and the car would later on go back again. So this is my basic main thoughts of this, and yeah, here I'm right now testing around with the entry, and then I'm using the temple building. Simply because, well, it looks great and it fits in here, it kind of like gives the mix of a modern hotel and then kind of like traditional thing. So you have a traditional touch in it, but it is not too old or anything like this. And yeah, so I thought about, yeah, I want to go with this for the main entrance. It is not completely centered, I'm fully aware of this, but the buildings are also not symmetrical, that's the main problem for me, but I think it is looking fine. It is nothing too bad, it's not completely destroying your kind of like view of it, so I think it's fine. Here I'm now working on the parking lot, not too big as I already said, as this wouldn't have too many big parking lots as I mentioned. And if you really want to get there by car, you'll probably get in some garage on the side or something like this, because when you have the money for it you will do that. But yeah, here I'm making just a pedestrian entryway you would kind of drop up the passengers. And I thought this might be a good idea to place here, and I think it looks quite fine, as this is kind of like this, how should we say this? Pedestrian walkway is wrong, but yeah, let's put it just like pedestrian walkway. And yes, here I'm just right now working out everything that is working fine, and it's looking not glitchy or something like this, as this is a two-step thing, so you have basically 2 steps of this in here. You have the kind of like 2 height steps, as you can see there, and I'm just placing a small stair to cover it up, as this might not be too realistic to have a look into the void there. But yeah, this is what I did there, and now I'm just copying over the parking lots, and in the middle we are doing just a simple connection road. This whole building is, by the way, not in any way working, as this is all PO, so we might want to place in some commercial and residential buildings inside of it, so that we have some people parking there and stuff like this, so this might be worth a consideration to do. Here I'm now just adding in slight detailing, nothing too fancy, nothing too big, as I'm kind of at this point just experimenting around with what I can do. Also here with a small gravel path, so nothing too fancy as you can see, but I like how it's just turning out in the end. It is quite a cool thing, I think, and it is quite a good addition. Definitely tell me what you think from it in the comments below, how we can improve it, or what you would wish for to see next to it or something like this, because I always look forward to build stuff that you guys would like to see in my city. Here once again I'm... oh, by the way, the parking spaces are recolored as they would have been way too bright in my opinion for my LED wouldn't kind of work out with this. And yes, here I'm just searching for some lights that I could use, and I think I went with the lanterns, the Japanese ones, yes. As these are just very cool looking, I think. And they gave kind of like this vibe of a traditional entry once again. And yeah, them just trying around again. But sadly it wasn't working for me. But we are also doing a small Japanese garden next to this, so don't worry, we'll be having some Japanese styles in here, I guess. And yes, here I'm just adding in some more trees to make it look a bit more realistic, and now getting in some bushes. Bushes are my favorite, kind of like to the detail together with grass. And yeah, as you can see there, I'm going for the full detail, as I imagine this would be quite a luxurious place, so yeah. Had a lot of fun with it, I would say. Also, another thing, the music is, as already said, changing, and I think it is a good change, as the music is getting kind of repetitive, so I might switch to some lo-fi music, and I will have 2 to 3 different setups for the music, I would say. So we would have always 5 different songs, and so that you can hear some different stuff in the background, just some relaxing background music, I would say. Because I think this is quite a good idea, so that you can concentrate on the voiceover or on the build itself and just have some relaxing music in the background. And yeah, this would be, I think, a good idea. Maybe not, but maybe it is. Tell me in the comments what you think about this too. So here we are now going into the front detailing, and I was having quite a hard time here. I was always looking at how can I do this, how does it look realistic, and in the end it turned out great, I think, but it was kind of a process to get there, because it is not that easy for me sometimes to do this stuff, because I like to go crazy with nature. But yeah, it kind of worked out in the end. Here I'm just kind of trying to mark off some spaces and to make it kind of like more spacious and stuff like this, to give it more depth and more details especially, but it isn't always that easy for me to do that, as when the spaces are too small I sometimes overboard it completely, and this is also not good. I think this is one of the things that you should kind of like avoid doing, but it always happens to me, I have to say, as this might be one of the things that typically get lost in is nature detailing in smaller spaces. So when you have a smaller space in real life also, you often have a lot of wild plants there, and this is also what I'm doing there, but well, it doesn't work out too good, I would say, most of the times. So now we're on the roof detailing, and therefore we will need some fences, and we will need some kind of like bridges to go over the grass, and yeah, this is what we will be doing for the next minutes. We will be first of all, we will be first of all also adding in some fences on top of the roof for safety measurements, and then we will be adding in the, wait, I need to think how it's called. I will be adding in the kind of like bridge thing that I'm doing in the middle. As you can see, the pathways are unconnected in the middle. There are grass steps above it, there you can see them. And I'm just filling them in. And I think it turned out quite cool, because I made them quite dark. As I would imagine this would be kind of like an expensive wood and not a cheap thrift wood like this one is. So yeah, kind of like worked out the best color for them in a second. But first of all, I'm just like here testing around with a fence on how to get this properly, and this will be also the color of the bridge that the fence has right now. And now here I'm just trying to move them as close as possible. It doesn't have to be perfect, as this is an area that you won't be seeing that much. And yeah, worked out quite well, I would say, once again. And this is how we kind of like made it smaller, because this is a very big fence. But yeah, it's worked out in the end, very happy about it. I want to do stuff like this small detailing are kind of like the stuff that I love to do, so we'll be doing it a bit more, also in the downtown. Because for the downtown, then I was kind of thinking, how can we do this, or better said, how should we kind of like make a downtown feeling without making too many buildings. because when we do too many buildings it would get laggy very quickly. But yeah, in the end I think we will be finding a way there. More to experiment with that, and if you follow me on Twitter or Reddit you already know this, that I also made a test build already. And yeah, I also did the first interchange build too, but this one will be the next video by the way. I'm always already in preparation for this, and always kind of like waiting patiently to get able to be finishing it off. Here I'm working around with bushes, how to make them and how to make them look good on the roof, as this might be one of the spaces we'd have some nature. I by the way love the texture of the roofs are so great. They have these different colors which give it quite some depth and yeah, very happy about it, and I think it's a good thing that we made them like this. Also here, once again, making the fence and also trying not to glitch it over and to kind of like move it inwards, just so that it works out like it should. And yes, this was quite a cool process. I think I would definitely consider doing another hotel again. Might be in the downtown, might be one of these very luxurious ones where I look over the whole skyline. But yeah, had a lot of fun with this. This is a thing that I not that often tried. I tried it in my series before, the European one. Had a lot of fun there too, so yeah, hotels are an interesting thing to do, I think. Also now I'm just adding in all the fences here, just for safety as I already said. You don't want people to run over your plants or fall off the roof, so this is why you would be doing it like this, I would imagine. Also, just give me a second please. Yes, okay, everything's fine. I was just checking if the recording was still running, because sometimes my recording program doesn't work like it should, but yes. Here now, once again, the fencing. And the fences are kind of an interesting thing to do, because they are not always the perfect length, and sometimes they will stand over in pathways, but I feel like this is also kind of realistic, because you would have them for separation of them, I would say. And yes, as you can always see, the pauses are, by the way, me looking at reference pictures. For example, this one has a reference picture in the suburbs of Tokyo. There's suddenly this massive hotel, and I just love it, it's so cool. It's just a very cool thing to have, I think. Also, now we're just aligning all the fences, and I had a lot of fun with this, I think. Fences are one of the things that make a Japanese city Japanese, because when you look at a Japanese city, they have immensely many fences, I would say. And this is also a very interesting thing, because I don't actually know why, but yeah, they do. Here also we're using the bushes, the trees as bushes, because the trees are looking so cool, and as bushes they're looking even better. So we use them as POs and then hovered them into the ground, and yeah. Here once again copying over the whole thing, and yeah, I redid it completely because mirroring it wasn't working like I wanted it to, so I was like, well yeah, we will just kind of make it like this. It is not that much of a big deal. It just takes some time, and it is a good idea to kind of like work with stuff, I would say. Also to fill in an episode with some content, I would guess. Also some time where I can simply talk to you. So yeah. Here we are now just adding in all of the fences, and there you also have this kind of like outstanding balcony, so where you can look into the valley or at the mountain, and they would be kind of like the perfect place to chill down for a bit, or just to sit down or just stand there and think about stuff, or rethink stuff in your life that happened recently or stuff like this. So this is also a thing that I have to say that I like quite a lot. Yeah. Also here I'm just kind of like working out everything and having a lot of fun with this, I would say. And this is also kind of like the finishing touch of the front entries. Now we're going to the balconies, I think, to the main balcony that looks into the area, into the distance, without any seating lounges or anything like this, because I forgot to add them to my collection. I think we might add some stuff in the future, but for now it will stay like this because I don't have the perfect ones. And yes, here I'm at this point just dragging them along and using the PO surfaces to make kind of like a good terrace here. I wanted to first of all go for a custom shape, but the custom shape would have taken too much time in my opinion, so here I'm now just kind of making a straight one. Nothing too interesting, but it is okay, I would say. It is nothing too fancy, and it is kind of like this very generic modern hotel look. And yeah, this is on a kind of like a rock base later on, but first of all we do the tiling. These are red tiles. Why I want to pick red tiles are I always kind of like reference them with something very expensive. And so I thought about, yeah, this might not only be me, so we might be putting them there, and now you have kind of like this expensive look to this, and yeah, just kind of like to give it this kind of a look. Also here for the kind of like steepness, it was a bit too steep there, so I added in another one so they can add in the rocks. As I imagine this would be standing on some artificial rocks that has been placed there, so you can simply have kind of like a good look from the outside, and then you have a good foundation. And this is what I aim for here. Also very sorry if my voice is a bit bad right now. I have the problem that, well, it's summer and that my allergies are saying hi. But yes, we are now kind of like finishing up the detailing of the front of the backyard area of the hotel, and then we will, in the next sequence, we'll be starting to detail the Japanese gardens. And they are very basic Japanese gardens. They're just having some shrines, they have some of the, how are they called? Some of the archways, and yeah, that's it. Nothing too fancy, nothing too shabby. I think it was quite a cool build. I actually had a lot of fun with this episode though. I always have a small problem with making the voiceover because I don't feel like that my voiceovers are like on the best that it could be, and this is always kind of like a big struggle for me if I'm happy with them or if I feel like no, they're a total waste, and I redo them 10 times. This is for example the 5th time that I'm doing this, and I could definitely still do more of them, because also with my background noises and health issues it's right now not too enjoyable for me, I would say. But yes, here we are once again filling in everything, and now I just very quickly will be doing the first set of the Japanese garden, and then we will be filling in the mountainside soon too, just with some rocks and some bushes. Here, as you can see, I'm just in love with the hotel. I just looked around it again, and yes, here we now have the main shrine, and we will now have a setup of I think 2 or 3 shrines. Yes, 3. And they will also be connected to the parking lot, as this might be kind of like referring to the hotel in some way. And yes, here I'm working out, having the way in here. And this feels kind of like a solid idea for me always, so I had a lot of fun with this. Although when you make kind of like these junctions with them, intersections with them, they don't work like it should, and then you have to figure them out yourself, I would say. It is, you have to kind of like be working quite a lot there to get them right, and I just copied in over some pathways just to cheat a bit, I would say. And it is looking okay in the end. I think I will be editing the square, yes, and then I would just be hovering them over each other. And this was the easiest way that I could be doing that, and it was fine. It was nothing too kind of like cheaty for me. It was quite fine to do it like this. So now we're copying it over again soon, and then we have the kind of like cross done here, and the crossing is finished, and now we'll be going on and to expanding this whole thing. And yes, all in all, I have to say I'm very happy with how this whole base turned out, and yeah, I would also like to see your opinions about this. And another side note, if you've watched the video until this point, I would appreciate if you would consider liking this video. And if you're new to my channel and you kind of like just recently discovered me and you like what I built, I would appreciate if you'd consider liking this video and subscribing to me, as this is a free way of supporting me. I will always stay without advertisement and without anything kind of like paid subscription thingy, I think, because I simply want to do this for fun, and I want to have people that can watch all my stuff for free without the need to pay something. And yeah, with this said, thank you very much, and we will now be kind of like continuing to detail this place, and this will be happening via some bushes that we are copying all over again, just to give kind of like some touch of some nature. And we will soon be building in some more plants, some more details, and this will be it for the episode. So thank you very much for watching, and hopefully see another video of mine. Bye, have a great day.